Thanks very much. Yes, so I'm with Stop Waste, which is also known as the Alameda County Waste Management Authority, and I'm pleased to represent the Bay Area Construction Innovation Cluster. Let me first give an overview of our region. As many of you know, it's a global hub for technological innovation, but our region's well-being is threatened by extreme economic disparities and also an acute housing crisis. Middle and lower income workers are fleeing in search of more affordable housing, and that is leaving service jobs in the region unfilled. So the inability of the construction sector to keep up and produce sufficient housing is a drag on our overall regional economy. And that burden falls heaviest on those communities that have historically been subject to redlining and other forms of discrimination. So let me try to advance the slide here. Okay, great. So in the past few decades, other sectors of the economy have seen radical transformations from technology. But the construction sector is still using methods that have changed very little since the 1950s, and it has declined in productivity for the last half century. The US lags behind other industrialized countries in Europe and Asia that have invested in advanced building construction methods. We seek to reverse this trend with a focus on industrialized construction, which adapts the principles of manufacturing to holistically improve the building process. This is typically done through modularization and prefabrication of the components. It has the potential to radically change how we build and improve quality control, sustainability standards, and workplace safety compared to typical construction job sites. We are also leading the transition towards a circular economy, one that decouples economic growth from resource consumption through the efficient use of materials, recirculation, and resource regeneration. In addition to using materials more efficiently through industrialized construction, we are building markets for the use of materials that would otherwise be wasted. For example, recycled glass, pozzolan, and aggregate can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions that are occurred in the manufacturing of concrete. Millions of tons of straw and wood biomass are produced in Northern California. Converting these byproducts into building materials will create urban manufacturing jobs while diversifying revenues in rural communities. During the pandemic, lumber prices in our region skyrocketed by up to 400%. At the same time, California discards 3 million tons of wood a year, some of which could be reclaimed and used to relieve supply chain disruptions. Our coalition of local governments, research institutions, and nonprofits, whose logos you see on the slide, consulted with dozens of industry partners to develop our 6 integrated projects. This includes 3 state-of-the-art test beds to create an infrastructure commons and open source tools that will lower barriers to entry for construction-related startups. Our business incubator and workforce programs are going to prioritize the participation of populations that have historically been excluded from the construction workforce, from entrepreneurship, and from real estate development. We will also support a market development initiative for secondary building materials and small infill housing projects, while we cultivate a long-term pipeline of future innovations. And I'll close by highlighting 3 areas of our anticipated impact. First, we seek to increase our region's resilience by regionalizing supply chains and regaining manufacturing. For example, cement and concrete contribute to over $500 million in our GRP, but the region's sources of natural aggregate are depleted, and the last cement plant closed in 2020. The picture on the left is from Blue Planet, a company which located next to a Bay Area power plant and is capturing carbon dioxide to produce a concrete aggregate that permanently sequesters carbon. This is the type of business and product that we want to grow. Second, we aim to expand, skill, and diversify the construction workforce in a way that builds human and social capital. The construction workforce in the Bay Area never fully recovered from the 2008 recession and is aging out, while women comprise only 10% of the construction trades. In addition to these workforce programs, we will cultivate a network of small contractors and developers who tend to be BIPOC, so that they can serve communities that have been overlooked by traditional construction firms. Third, we seek to increase housing production and affordability. Initially, we are focusing on small infill projects of 1 to 10 units. They represent the so-called missing middle of housing, which supports more socially integrated and diverse neighborhoods. Recent state legislation in California creates the opportunity for most of the existing 2.5 million single-family homes in the Bay Area to add up to 3 additional housing units. So in summary, we are a nascent cluster bringing innovation to a traditionally risk-averse industry. And I and my fellow coalition members who are in the virtual room today are happy to expand on any of our proposal and cluster projects and welcome any of your follow-up questions.